Hi Aries, welcome to your October 2019 General Tarot reading. It's Rena here. So I'm switching things up a bit in terms of my cards. I'm showing you the box. This is Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot deck that I bought last week. And this is what the back of the cards looks like, because it's always fun to see the back of them. Such a cool Art Nouveau design. So I hope that you enjoy the variety here. They seem to be pretty close to the Rider-Waite illustrations. And the other thing is that they have a couple of additional cards. And so they have like 20, they go up to 23. So I guess it would be like 24 major arcana cards. And if I happen to pick, one of those, then I will look in my booklet for the explanation, because I'm not familiar with that. And also another thing too is, like, this is an example, see how they're kind of gilded? Oh wow, that is so awesome. So far we got two wands. It's fire energy. But there's like kind of a delicacy. Maybe that's why they're called ethereal. I'm trying to get my... I had a strand of my hair there. Okay, ooh. I remember seeing the moon card and I thought it was had such a feminine design, I even like the color of the box on the side. That's one of my favorite colors. As you can see, my my cloth covering is in that family of the sea green or blue green. Okay, so the heart of the matter for October for you is Ace of Wands. So this is a card of new beginnings, and especially because you are fire energy and Wands connects to fire. This might even be connected to Aries. You are having a full moon in your sign on the 13th at 20 degrees of Aries. So that may kind of go along with all of this, where there's this sense of ending something about yourself, and then that propelling you to kind of go in a new direction in some way. This could even be launching something that you have been wanting, like a career, a business. Wands can connect with creativity, or it's creativity, or like entrepreneurial things, which is kind of a form of that as well. Maybe a new relationship that is very a passionate type of relationship. I would say especially if it's with somebody who is a fire sign as well. Yeah, because look, even in the past position, it's kind of a similar type of energy. Page of Wands. This can be good news that you receive that allows you maybe to do something that you got. Let's say you got a loan, so you're able to start your business or whatever it is. Hearing from somebody that you really wanted to be with, maybe that they've gotten a divorce, that they have I have moved from being overseas. Maybe you were waiting for them or something along those lines. Oh, I didn't even know that I had 3 wands. That is so wild. Oh, maybe I just forgot after I did it. So the higher message is the Knight of Wands. And this is kind of like, I'm assuming that, because of the way the horse seems to be kind of like just furiously galloping, just based on his mouth being open, that there's that sense of movement. And this is the spiritual message. So you may have felt, Aries, that your hands were tied about something and that you just couldn't move forward. And now it's like all systems go, and that you can like do something. You might have been waiting on something that now makes it possible that you can actually do what you want to do. And that feels perhaps, I'm assuming, very exciting, but also invigorating. And, you know, the wands are associated with enthusiasm. So if you have been somebody who is, has been like, you know, prevented from doing something, you know, Aries is so impatient that you don't take well to any kind of limitations in that area. The Knight of Wands is actually connected to Sagittarius. I always link it to Aries myself, because I think of, you know, there's that knight, I think of it as like a warrior type of a person. But even Sagittarius is a fire sign, so maybe this is involving a fire sign. However, this is a higher message, so we're looking at the spiritual message and whatever's going on with you, rather than, you know, just interpreting it literally. And perhaps this is kind of saying you had to do it your way, that you could not do what somebody else wanted you to do, that you needed that sense of freedom, because these cards are all connected with freedom. What crosses you is the Five of Swords. This is an interesting depiction. This is one of the cards so far. I'm still getting used to this deck. I haven't really seen every single card. Oh yeah, okay. This one, I take that back. I was going to say that it doesn't really connect with it, but I see that there are people in the back. Now, in this particular depiction of the card, the person is not holding any of the swords, but they're all in his possession. And there are people in the background. Sometimes this can be winning the battle and losing the war, where you get what you want, but at somebody else's expense. And so I don't know if this would be true for you. The other, I think, is a common. Yeah, I mean, that could very well be true, because I'm talking about Aries. Aries tends to be a very aggressive type of sign, and it's like the knight, you might be charging into something because you really feel strongly about it, but not necessarily considering all the other factors. So an example, I gave the example for whatever reason, excuse me, of waiting for somebody to get divorced. And I didn't really know why I said that. I was just trying to think of a possible example. And now that I think about it, you know, let's say that you fell in love with somebody who was married, and they said, look, I want to be with you. I don't want to be with that person. Just give me time to be able to extricate myself from this unhappy marriage. And let's say you received word, the Page of Wands, that the person is getting ready to leave, or they already have, and yet something still isn't quite right. Maybe it's finally hitting you that they left their family, and maybe it's also hitting you that you may not have wanted it after all, that it was kind of that forbidden fruit or that challenge to get somebody who was already committed to be with you instead. And now that you have gotten what you wanted, you're kind of almost already bored. Aries is the kind of sign that loves new beginnings, but isn't as comfortable with the day-to-day. So I could totally see somebody like an Aries person who is invigorated by an affair, and then if the other person leaves their primary relationship, all of a sudden Aries is like, uh-oh, now I have this person on my hands 24/7. What am I going to do? I really didn't want this. Maybe you didn't ask them to leave their family or whatever, and that person did anyway, and now you're kind of in this pickle where you're kind of like, oh, now what do I do? The other thing too is that the Five of Swords can point to some kind of treachery, some kind of intrigue or gossip that's being done against you. and this could even be other people involved as well. And if, like, for instance, you left a company to start your own business or something along those lines, those people might be dragging your name through the mud. They might be like, you know, poisoning the well in the industry that you are a part of. And their reasoning for doing it might be like, oh, well, they betrayed us. He or she, you know, left the company. They left us high. He or she left us high and dry. When in fact, you just simply decided to do your own thing, and they couldn't accept that because they're kind of stuck, and so they wanna make other people stuck since they are. Sometimes people are like that, very vindictive, and so you might be dealing with that. What's coming in is represented by the Ace of Cups, so new love. Okay, this is the first time I've picked this card. I think this is really cool. Very clean lines, very like old-fashioned. Ace of Cups can be new beginnings. So here we have Ace of Wands, now we have Ace of Cups. So a lot of beginnings in the month of October. And of course, Libra is the sun sign for most of the month. Libra, light, is your opposite sign, Aries. So it is a sign of, it's a cardinal sign like you, which means that there can be a lot of developments in action that take place. And so with Ace of Cups, you may be starting a relationship or a business job that's heart-centered. Not just, I mean, Ace of Wands for a relationship could say that maybe at first what attracted you was the person physically, but now you realize that they are your soulmate or an emotional match for you, that there are feelings there. It's not just kind of like lust, but it's love. And for a business, you are putting your soul into this. You're launching it with a sense of some kind of like emotional attachment to it. It's not, you're not just going through the motions, you're not just doing it for the money, but you really have a strong connection to it. It could be even like in the healing arts as well as creative endeavors. And yes, you know, the Moon card is the outcome. Isn't that beautiful? And this card indicates as the outcome card, I mean, it could even be like a timing card where, you know, you're going to have in November, you're going to have a new moon in, well, let me see. You're going to have a new moon in November in Taurus. Taurus is your second house. So that can indicate that, you know, with a, did I say new moon? I'm sorry, full moon. And in November, like, you know, close to the middle of the month of November. And that can indicate something coming to culmination. Maybe your hard work is paying off and you're able to see a profit from things that you've done. So it might be a timing card. The Moon card connects with Pisces. So I'm recording this right before the new moon in Pisces, or the full moon in Pisces, and that for you is the 12th house. So if you're watching then, see what comes up for you around that time, because even, you know, it's one of those things, time is an illusion, isn't it? So all of these readings, you know, that are dated, supposed to be occurring for, you know, a month ahead or whatever, they could be something, you know, even this timeline here, that it could be some development around that time that's backwards. Maybe the last card is going to inform this card, and it'll be like, you know, you get this dream and this idea for business, and then that's where it came from. But the Moon card is about things coming out, secrets coming out, maybe something has been withheld from you. And with that Five of Swords, that treachery, maybe that comes out, and that allows you to kind of like put the past behind you, because it may interfere with your present situation. But, you know, if there is some kind of a new love, you may have to find out something about that person too, you know. You never know what they're up to. Maybe they say they're leaving their partner and they really haven't. And then you're already like in love with them and you don't want to just leave them, so it kind of gets complicated. The Moon is associated with intuitive practices, again, like a healing arts business, or just artistic endeavors, which could be something that you're launching with the Ace of Wands. So, and the Ace of Cups, actually. So, yeah, that's very cool, Aries. And I hope that some of this at least resonated with what's going on in your life currently. If you'd like a personal reading, especially like astrological readings, which are based on your natal chart, and, you know, tend to be more specific with certain details, please check the link to my website below. Take care. Bye.